In 1 Corinthians, we are told that our bodies are temples, and we are called to honor God with them. As we pass the age of 50, stewarding our physical health becomes an increasingly active, daily commitment. Right now, that stewardship requires facing an immediate threat, a massive multi-state outbreak of a microscopic parasite known as Cyclospora cayetanensis. Was ingested as parasite attacks the intestinal tract. It causes rapid physical devastation, including extreme fatigue, severe stomach cramping, and prolonged, explosive, watery diarrhea. Older adults are uniquely vulnerable to this threat. As we age, our natural stomach acid naturally declines, and our microbiomes shift. When this parasite hits an older digestive system, the resulting diarrhea can cause severe, life-threatening dehydration in a matter of days. The vehicle for this current outbreak is sitting right in our refrigerators. Health officials are consistently tracing the parasite back to mass-market produce, specifically romaine lettuce, cilantro, and leafy greens. When lead nor to decayed or digested defenses, we leave the gates of the handle wide open to these microscopic invaders. You might assume the pre-washed ad salad at the grocery store was clean, but health officials warn that pre-washed is merely a corporate processing term, not a guarantee of safety. In commercial packaging facilities, produce is washed in massive communal water channels to process thousands of pounds at once. Assume fecal matter, claim a single cyclospore parasite makes it into a bath. The water itself acts as a delivery mechanism, actively spreading the contamination across the entire batch of greens. This exposure happens alongside a diet increasingly filled with factory-made foods that lack the specific plant matrices found in a whole food diet, leaving us to face these outbreaks without the historical nutrients our bodies typically rely on. By relying on corporate convenience, we have effectively traded the safety of our own homes for an industrial system that can spread pathogens just as easily as a parasit's have. God's original design for our defense is outlined all the way back in Genesis. The human body was built to operate on complex, whole plants that work synergistically to protect us. The very first layer of that biological fortress relies heavily on the stomach and liver's ability to produce bile. The anatomical cutaway shows the mechanism in action. Consuming historically bitter foods acts as a biological trigger. It forces the liver to flush out a highly concentrated wave of digestive bile. This healthy flow of bile serves a dual purpose. It helps regulate our reproductive hormones, and it creates a highly acidic, hostile environment in the stomach that burns up incoming parasites before they can survive to reach the lower gut. Natural bitter plant compounds are the critical vanguard of our immune system, but we have largely abandoned them for a highly processed, utterly fleeting modern diet. If a hardy pathogen manages to survive the stomach acid, it hits the second line of defense in the small intestine, a region guarded by specific antimicrobial botanicals. Look at this microscopic view of carvacrol, an active compound found in herbs like oregano and thyme. Notice how its specific molecular structure, a hydroxyl group, acts like a needle to physically puncture the outer cellular membrane of an invading pathogen. This physical penetration destroys the protective biofilms that pathogens build around themselves. Once that shield ruptures, the invader cells leak their contents and die. We have another botanical ally in berberine, a powerful compound derived from historical medicinal plants like golden seal. Berberine acts like a potent antidiarrheal. Golden seal physically coats the mucosal walls of your intestine, preventing any surviving parasite and bacteria from adhering to your tissue and taking hold. These specific plant compounds function as a biologically engineered security force, disarming dangerous invaders without causing any harm to the host's own tissue. The high innermost layer of the fortress, Loki and the colon and the microbial. The body uses natural semax. A complex with protective antioxidants called polyphenols are tightly bound to raw dietary fire. Because they are physically linked together, local gut cement the serric upper digestive fiber completely in fiber, arriving at the colon exactly Morrow's named. This diagram is the intestinal lining shows what happens next. Local gut bacteria ferment that incoming fiber, was stung to produce distinct fungal martins known as short-chain fatty acids, like butyrate. What's the SOGAPs? These fatty acids serve body to produce tight junction proteins, which physically draw the epithelial cells together to reinforce the intestinal wall and significantly reduce its permeability to pathogens. The palate is clear, referring to whole food unstripped matrices are the only way to permanently rebuild and seal the walls of the digestive tract. Seeing signs of the body esters together, real stewardship requires us to turn this biological knowledge into intestinal daily habits. Habit 1. Step away from corporate fast food supply chains. You cannot outsource the purity of your temple to factories that prioritize scale over safety. Habit 2. Reject the false security of pre-washed bags. Buy whole heads of lettuce, discard the outer leaves, and wash them manually at home under running water to physically dislodge any hidden pathogens. Habit 3. Actively reinforce in biological shield every single day. Ream bitter herbs, antimicrobial oregano, and whole food fibers back into your kitchen and your diet. In John 15:5, Christ tells us that, apart from the vine, we can do nothing. True vitality and defense are impossible if we sever ourselves from God's original blueprint for nourishment. Honoring the body means returning to what is pure, clean, and completely unadulterated. It is simply and hope to understand the amazing design of your own biology. Please subscribe to the channel, share this video with a loved one, and let's commit to growing stronger in faith and health together.